Have you ever felt like life is not going according to your plans? Like maybe someone up there is looking at you, laughing at you and all of your plans. Let me share a moment when I felt just like that. It was a summer day in July 2019, the very first day of my journey into the unknown. It's only been hours after saying goodbye to everything familiar back home in Tel Aviv, and I'm already facing my first letdown. Here I am sitting on a green, wide lawn in the outskirts of Copenhagen, tears streaming down my face in a flow I cannot stop. This is not what I had in mind for my first day of the journey. Because even though I deliberately decided to set out with minimal plans ahead, trusting that this is my best chance to find what I was looking for, meaning and love. Even though I did plan the first day of my journey, thinking that setting on the right foot will help to set the tone for the rest of it. So I arranged to meet with friends who will welcome me in my first destination, Copenhagen. Just that I'm late, 30 minutes late. And they could not forgive me. So they welcome me all right with shouts. How dare you disrespect our time, being late like that? Tossing my things in the back of the truck, and then the tears and me sitting on the grass on my own. It's official, my journey, my exciting big journey is starting off the worst possible way imaginable. How would you react if your plans, your goals smash into your face so harshly? So aside of those tears, thoughts were popping in my head like popcorn. Did I just leave everything behind for this? Being shouted at my friends? Did I just did the worst mistake in my life? But luckily, alongside those tears and thoughts, there was something more happening with me. I was holding to a powerful key I wasn't even aware of, that even though I was far from being resilient at that point, it's going to open the door for me to a roadmap that's going to show me how to bounce back from these tough moments that are going to come again and again throughout this journey that lasted more than a year, took me over 3 continents. And I'm here today to share with you both that key and the roadmap that it led me to. And I believe that if it helped me to go through all of these challenges I was about to face, I firmly believe it has some power to help you and give you something valuable too. But first, let's face it. You don't need to leave everything behind to feel like that, right? We've all been there, facing those challenges. From the smallest thing, like standing stuck in traffic on the way to an important meeting, that's where it gets me. But also the bigger ones, like starting the day off arguing with the person you love the most, or maybe not achieving the goal, or having a bad meeting that you were actually looking for. What is this in those moments that hit us so hard, that catch us off guard? It's not only having those expectations left unmet, it's something deeper. It turns out it touched one of our most basic needs. Maslow's pyramid teaches us that our very basic need as human beings is safety. And when our plans are being smashed in our face, from sitting stuck in traffic to those bigger challenges we have in life, like trying to raise a village, we feel that ground of safetyness is being shaken, and we feel unsafe. Avocado is going to come somewhere along the story or in the end, so we will wait with that. But how then we tackle that safety? Maybe if we take a closer look in those specific times when things don't go our way, maybe we understand those, what I call reality players, then we can get a grab of how to play better and maybe even win. So first, quick question. Who has ever, or not ever, felt like shook off in the last month? Like faced a challenge that shook him off a bit, or felt like, caught off guard, overwhelmed. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Yeah. Even in the last week, maybe. And can you guess? I'm gonna now just speak about the experience of being stuck in traffic to keep it simple, but I would love you to connect to maybe something that you can resonate with, that you have recently maybe experienced, that moment or that experience that you were not expecting, that didn't go as you wanted, and that touched you and maybe was weighing down on you for some time. Everyone got it? All right. So let's find who are those players. We are sitting now in traffic. Can you imagine what is the first player in that reality game? Yeah, us, or we can say reality itself, objective reality. That at that moment, can we change anything? Can you have your wings lifted and just fly over the traffic, or right now you're stuck, right? So we are stuck, and that's the objective reality. So the second player is our senses, where we feel or understand what's happening around us through our senses, but then our mind processes it. And now it's no longer objective reality, it's subjective. And normally, how do we respond when something is not what we wanted? We take on a negative pattern of thoughts. Maybe, oh my God, I cannot be here. That this is not happening to me. I was supposed to be there so much earlier. And how did I allow this to happen? Right? And maybe if we take even a deeper look, what happens in our mind, really? You know this, you've probably heard of the amygdala, the almond-shaped structure in our center of our brain that was there to actually keep us safe. Back in the caveman, when he was really facing life danger, threatening experiences, and the fight or flight response would keep him alive. But now, our amygdala doesn't know if you're facing a lion or you stand stuck in traffic. For him, danger is danger. It's stress. And it tells you, run or freeze. Do something. So you are not connected with your smarter brain, which we're going to speak about a bit more later. So you have your brain now responding, taking those thoughts, and then the third player that follows, our emotions. So we start to fear what's going to happen when we do get to the meeting. Is it going to threaten our business goals? Maybe our job? And you see, actually what happens there, you started something, but is it only stayed in that bubble of being stuck in traffic, or when you are now finally arriving to this meeting, hop, do you arrive in a best thinking cap, best positive self of yours, or are you still dragging down those thoughts and emotions from that moment in the traffic? Could it be that that meeting will not go as well, even if you wouldn't say a word? People around you know that something is off. And then, could it be that you would have maybe a discussion with your boss who's going to be disappointed at you, and you would feel even worse, and maybe you would even go home and take it on the people you love the most, who had nothing to do with you and your lousy day and standing back then in the traffic? And could it be that you maybe even drag it for more days or weeks? How clear can you think when you are in that spiral? How positive and energy lifted can you be? And maybe even your health will take the toll. So our reality, our mind, and our emotions, it's pretty clear. But then there is something that happened, and a fourth player came in, that invisible downward spiral, that now it's not only reality that impacts us. Now we're coming back to very reality, impacting it again with our thoughts and emotions. So we are not even aware of this, but this is our creation of reality from now on, if we keep on dragging it down with us. So maybe the real problem is not that we have our expectations left unmet, like we said, or bad experiences, but the real problem is, let's see if it, no. Okay, here there was supposed to be a spiral, so how deep do we fall? Do we just have this wave, tiny wave, but then we rise up, or do we keep on spiraling more and more until who knows when? And maybe, okay, what do we do with that? I mean, I guess we can't always control and have a reality on our side all the time, even though I'm a big believer of reality can stand in leading us to our biggest dreams. I'm a dream chaser, professional dream chaser since I was 20. Since I've decided I want to live in Italy, I just took off and lived in Italy when I was 23. Then I wanted to become a flight attendant to travel the world, so I did that. Even publish a small book in Israel, and even becoming a businesswoman that then I aspired to be. But we cannot always have those dreams. I mean, dreams we can have control. We cannot always have those moments in between going how we want. Well, unless you're Chuck Norris and then you tell reality what to do, right? It's not reality telling you. But let's say we are not Chuck Norris. Wouldn't we all agree it would be lovely then to find that safety within us, even in those moments, to rise back from the highs and the lows, to notice the downward spiral, to be the captain of our ship, the king and the queen of our castle, in the highs and the lows? So as I mentioned, in the unknown, I found that roadmap, and what key that I was holding to. So at that point, I knew I'm not a resilient person. I knew I can, I told you, I'm a professional dream chaser, right? But when things didn't go my way, I would crash hard. So sitting there on the grass, I already knew that there is something that I'm not aware of. My mind is not telling me everything. How could it be that I can achieve all of my dreams, but when things don't go my way, I'm crashing so badly? And I have decided that now I'm not going to let reality dictate for me. And I'm not going to tell myself, oh, this journey is doomed. I'm going to see what's happening, and I realize that I'm asking questions and I'm curious. What is going to go on from here? What is it that my mind is not telling me? And from now on, I started casting doubt on the first thought that came on, because I knew, it's not always serving me. So we're going to explore this roadmap that came thanks to, not the avocado, avocado too, thanks to the curiosity. And we're going to explore, with curiosity, a 3-step system that's going to be easy to follow, that our mind actually would not resist, because the curiosity is going to be our secret ingredient in every step. And you will now see how it's going to be so powerful. So, yeah. What's the first part in that roadmap? Noticing. Why? Remember we talked about the mind that is the first one to be in the game of reality after reality that we have no control over. The one we do have control over is our mind, but we don't notice what's happening there, right? If we would notice that we are dragged into the downward spiral, we would not let it drag us down. But you might say, no, sure, no problem. I'm still sitting in traffic. I know I'm upset. I don't want to be here. But do you really notice? Or are you now dragged in that spiral and responding to the problem you're having, not really in a helpful way? So maybe if again we take just another closer look at what's happening in that mind of ours in those times, then we can have a key or a tool to respond to that. So the first bad news. First bad news is our bad thinking habits, right? Has anyone taught you how to think in school? Maybe your parents? They teach us beautiful things. I love mathematics and geography, but does it really help me in my life when things don't go my way? And let me tell you, my mentors, my mom and my dad, no one taught them. So my mom, growing up in Israel, wouldn't respond the best when things crashed, and she would panic, and I saw that. And my dad would crawl into himself. So not the best example, right? And even today, we are actually, it's a funny anecdote, I'm watching cartoons with my 2-year-old. You can all relate to Donald Duck, though this is now, like, none of the kids watch that today, but you can relate. And Donald Duck, this innocent character that you've all been watching, do you know what he does when the dog kicks him by mistake? Scary looking image. No, I will kick it back, and then maybe I will feel better, I will scream and shout. This is not how it should be. And this is what you've learned from innocent cartoons. And then some more bad news. That automatic reaction. I spoke about the amygdala, right? But what you also don't know is when the amygdala steps into the stage of your brain, which has only one place for only one player at the time. What happens? The smarter part of your brain, the one that you really want to be active in those times, that capable to solve those problems, that problem that you're facing, who's responsible for higher thinking, is stepping back, because on that stage of the brain, there is only place for one at a time. So amygdala takes over. Bad news. So what do we do? Good news. It's 1940. It became official. Our mind has this plasticity character into it. It's flexible. That means that even after we finish growing up, our mind changes. That means that and multiple studies about this, that means that we can get our prefrontal cortex bigger and stronger, and we can shrink our amygdala to some extent. These studies talk about mindfulness, but actually the interesting thing that they also found challenges is our brain gym. Yeah, that's the time to actually start training your brain, to actually work on changing the parts of your brain. That means you can start to choose to send neurons, fire neurons into your prefrontal cortex, because you know that's the one you want. And soon enough, those neurons will keep on going where you wanted them to be. But you need to remember that when you're facing challenge. So how do we do that? I mean, you're already dragged down to that, traffic jam. No, I don't want to be here. How do you notice at that moment? First of all, I told you curiosity is lovely and it's going to support us, because the power of questions is to open up our mind. It's kind of like it's pulling it back from this free falling it's going to. It's like itching our brain and it's telling it, no. Don't focus on that traffic jam. I have a better question for you. What's alive in me? How do I feel? Where are my thoughts? Just those questions are one of them to actually check in with yourself. But wait, still it's hard to do that when you are in the traffic. In the traffic. So maybe start doing this regularly. Maybe start asking those questions every 4 hours. Maybe it's too hard. You can set an alarm, or you can start doing this every morning and evening. Or maybe when you're making coffee, what's alive in me? All okay. And then, what's alive in me? I started the day pretty badly, fighting with my partner, and I feel this weighing down on me, and I'm not in my best shape. I'm not focused. So now we can start working on that. But great, you've noticed. So what do we do next? What is the second step? You remember what's coming after our mind in that circle? Emotions. Our emotions. And so how do we respect and regulate those emotions? I'll tell you one not to do. What I used to do when I was not resilient, I used to ignore them. For example, if I would go on a date and I would feel insecure, what would I do? I would take my phone and watch a funny cartoon or a funny, those videos of a cat when he sees a cucumber? It is scared. It thinks it's a snake, so it really jumps, and that made me laugh for a bit. But then I went to the date, and my emotions were still there, being unseen, and the guy next to me would feel that, and me too. Then I'd sometimes overdo it, and I would go and cry so hard, thinking maybe if I cry and pray and like kick my legs, and someone will find mercy for me over there. But that didn't make me feel better either. So what is respecting and regulating our emotions? Imagine emotions like little kids. You've seen one here lately. And you know when they need your attention, but you're just busy now speaking to your friend, and they're like, "Mommy, mommy," pulling your shirt, and you're like, "No, I'm busy now. Wait, I'm speaking with my friend." And he's, "No, mommy, mommy, mommy." "No, not now, I'm busy." And you're trying to go back to speaking with your friend, but there's no chance. So he will keep on going, "Mommy, mommy," and finally you notice him. "Yeah, what do you want?" "Oh, that's a beautiful painting, thank you." And you know what he does? He runs off to play. He doesn't need that anymore because he got to be seen. He showed you what he wanted. Often emotions are there to show you something important. So when you agree to see them, something changes. And then how do you respect them? How do you really allow them to be seen? Ask those questions. Simple. What can I do to find relief? How can I let them be? Sometimes it just, you know what, I do need a little cry. You know what, I'm doing a little cries almost, no, not weekly. But it happens that if I start the morning off and I know now I'm overstimulated, overwhelmed, I'm going for a little cry if that's what I need. Sometimes I need to write things down and just let it out. Sometimes I need a good dance. If you're stuck in traffic, you feel like shouting and screaming because now you're so upset, set your radio on workstation or play a song that you can scream and shout and have fun with it. And like a balloon, all the air comes out and the relief is found. And a lot of times also going to the gym, going for a run, or also sometimes speaking with that person that's involved in that situation that makes you feel off. Just speaking with them authentically will help to find that relief you were seeking for, and you don't need to be stuck. All right, so what is the third and last step in that roadmap of ours? So our mind, now we're getting back to it. So we took care, we noticed that something is off. We realized that our emotions need to be seen and we gave them that space. But then our mind is still not happy with where it is, right? Because how do I shift that from the knots that it started creating about me not needing to be here right now and need to be elsewhere? What do? Unpretzeling our mind. How do we unpretzel our mind, shift our thoughts to a better place? Do we start saying positive affirmations? Kind of, but not really, because remember the power of questions? Let's shift our mind in a smarter and more powerful way. Let's ask questions, and maybe we can use some guided questions to let us easily tap into those moments and know, oh, this is the question I need to ask to shift my experience. So we're going to use one of the 4 archetypes, or all of them, whatever you want, whatever fits for that situation. And what archetypes are about? They symbolize and bring something bigger than ourselves, but we can all have and relate to them because we all have them inside. So they're going to be our compass now in the moment when we are ready to shift our mind. So the first one, the surfer. You might not be one, but you know the surfer is all about waves, right? When he is looking back or they look back, all they want is to look where the wave is coming from. When they look forward, it's only to their destination, because if they look elsewhere, they're going to fall. So the very fundamental element they bring is focus. Okay, so how can we bring more focus and find that shift through focus? Let's ask questions like, why? What's in here that matters to me so much? And I'd like to share a moment when I felt like that 2 months into my journey. I was already in Santa Monica. I was about to start a business I had dreamt of with a business partner who was a friend. And our goal was to create a space where people can come and experience themselves in different lands and kind of start having those mind exercise, but through experiences. So we are we get in a car together and we start in a road trip through which we want to explore that concept. But 2 weeks after that, and we are not a good match. So here I am again, in Santa Monica this time, with no partner, no idea where am I going to stay, what am I going to do. But I know now that, okay, downward spiral is about to begin. I'm feeling very bad and stuck and very alone. So I let it few days. I need a few days to heal from that. And I try to find also support from wisdoms of other approaches that I like Kabbalah and others. And after a few days, I'm starting to ask, what's important for me here? Is it to create this space for people, or is it to bring that message to the people, to really change how they create their life and to be aware that they have the power to create them as they want, even in the highs and the lows. So, since I can't open a space myself, I'm going to write about it. I have a lot of things to say. I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to make workshops. And as I realized that there is actually, this path didn't work, but that path did take me there, doors opened. I found a space to sleep in Santa Monica and no time pressure, and just started writing the book. So when you ask yourself why, all of a sudden you realize you were just stuck on one way to get to your goal. But actually, when you look on the top, there are many ways to get there. Okay, and then what about the second archetype? If, for example, the why didn't work for you at that moment, let's go to the hero. The hero usually resembles for us a prince going to save a princess from a flaming dragon, right? And would that prince step out of his door to actually save the princess, to actually pass the dragon? But hey, you don't need to be a prince. All of us here sharing a goal, right? All of us having a goal we are after. So how do you find that trust within you? Ask yourself, this looks really bad right now, but have I been through something like this before? That looked so bad that I could not do it, but actually, you know what, I did. I made it. So I can take some strength from my memory of being capable. Or maybe you have faced something that looked like the end of the world, but now when you look at yourself, I'm in a much better place, actually, even though that wasn't the plan. And you can realize that you only have this kind of perspective in front of you, but there's a much bigger one. You cannot see it right now from where you are standing, but you can reach it later. And probably in a few months or years, you will say, oh, you know what, it was the better. So why did I suffer so much back then? And just having that trust will find your relief, and you can move on and get up from this downward spiral. The student is about growth. And I think the student can just come at all times to shift our perspective. Isn't it true that there is always something to learn from, always something to grow from? Again, even in that journey in Santa Monica, after we bought our car and parted ways, and I stayed with the car, we just bought it from a dealership, and all of a sudden, lights started to go on the dashboard. But I refused to acknowledge them because, no, I just bought the car. This is not happening. And what happened? I drove until I found myself stuck in the middle of the road. Of course, I was upset, and all the time that's wasted. I'm supposed to write my book right now, but after that, okay, Dana, come on, you should have learned something from that, right? Don't ignore the signs. Look at the signs when they are in front of you, either in the dashboard or in our lives. So I've learned in the car not to do it again, and the upset left. And then the last. The last is the yogi. That resembles flexibility. And adaptability, and sometimes it's also not so complicated. Sometimes it's just about getting perspective. What's in it for me? Is it worth being stuck and feeling so bad about something that won't matter in a week or maybe 1 month? You know what? Would it matter in a year? If it won't matter in a year, does it worth me now feeling so bad, feeling my health going wrong way, feeling my relationships taking a toll? Or just let it go? And yeah, someone here I don't see was just telling me that he has took his favorite pants to the laundry and they never came back. And what did you choose? To let go of it in the end. All right, and I'm going to share with you how to do that, but I'll just tell you that I'm having these are bookmarks that are going to remind you 2 of the archetypes. What do I need to let go of and what do I need right now? So they bring the focus and the yogi. But also they have a barcode. I would love you to share your feedback about this talk and to hear your opinion. But that's for later. So what do we do? And don't worry, there is also avocado waiting for us in the end. But to summarize it up, what do we do when things don't go our way? We bring curiosity. First of all, know that you don't see the whole picture, that your mind is tricking you, that the amygdala is on, and you want to bring the prefrontal cortex to the front. So how do you do it? You notice, you respect your emotions, and you unpretzel your mind. You use the 4 archetypes who bring us focus, trust, learning and growth, and adaptability through questions. And now for the avocado. So the avocado, which some of us here are very passionate about it, I was also very passionate about it. It was months into my journey. I was in Amsterdam just after one retreat called Circling, and it was about being in the authentic moment. So for a whole week, we were asking, what's alive in me? I didn't know, but I practiced. I was lucky to practice this first step for a whole week. And we would communicate with ourselves and others through what's alive in us in that moment. So after that retreat, I met with a friend who was there too. We were hungry, we wanted to make lunch. For some reason, I really was craving for avocado. So I told him, you know, I really feel like avocado. Please, let's not forget to get one when we do grocery shopping. All right, he said. Then we go into the supermarket. Just as we enter, I tell him, I really feel like avocado. Let's not forget to get one. Okay. And we keep on talking about our experiences, and we get back home. And what's missing? Avocado. And at that point, I was not resilient, and I told you, little things shook me off. There is no avocado that I wanted so much, and I even told him twice. Oh, I was so upset. And I told him, why? Why didn't you respect what I asked of you? Why didn't you get the avocado? And you know what he told me? I'm sorry, there is no avocado. It is what it is. Now, at that moment, my vein was about to pop. It is what it is? This is really what he told me right now? But then I started asking, or it was already kind of automated, what's alive in you? And I realized, oh my God, I'm not going to enjoy this salad. I'm not going to enjoy his company. I'm going to ruin this whole afternoon because there is no avocado. And maybe I will go back to my home back then, and I will be upset because there was no avocado, and our relationship will be ruined. Or, what are my other options? I can go and buy one. It's 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, 20 minutes, you got avocado. I don't feel like it. Okay. It is what it is. And it is what it is for my first time. For my first time with this avocado, I realized there's another way to go when things don't go my way. And this avocado came with me when my car was stuck in Santa Monica. It came with me. This experience reminded me that I have control over my experiences if I choose to let go or grow or learn. Or be focused on what's important. And I hope maybe that out of everything here, either you take the avocado with you and remember that you have the ability, the power, and the responsibility to create your experiences through the highs and the lows. Thank you.